Hello, it's the third week in May now here in sunny Cornwall, and it has been a bit sunny for once. We've had a spell of rather depressing wet weather, so things haven't done brilliantly outside. But here in the greenhouse, it's a controlled environment, and I've got some surpluses at last. I've got things to harvest. The two things I'm going to be harvesting today are my early potatoes and my spinach. The potatoes I put in back in February. You can probably see they're starting to die down a bit now. I would normally, if these were outdoor potatoes, I'd wait for the tops to go all yellow and almost dead. But I really need the space now. And the potatoes that are under the ground, they're pretty well formed. So I'm going to pull them all out and put them into storage. Storing things is just as important as growing them. With potatoes, it's fairly easy. With the spinach that I'm going to crop, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. I'm going to blanch it and freeze it, but I'll show you how that's done. Moving on to the spinach, I've been growing this, as you can see, in this soil bed alongside everything else. It was an early crop, and it's actually taken over as my main crop of spinach because the stuff outside has failed due to the poor weather. But it's going a little bit crazy in the greenhouse, so it's really got to go anyway. It's just starting to bolt. It's forming little, what you can see will be flower heads and then seed heads in amongst the plants. So I'm going to crop the bulk of the leaves off, and that'll give the tomatoes here that I've got in front a chance to grow up and fill out. At this time of year, particularly in a little greenhouse like this, space is absolutely at a premium. One thing comes out, another thing goes in, and you've never got enough room. But once these early crops are out, I'll have a bit more space and I can start cramming in the next load of things. I mentioned the tomatoes will grow up. Where the potatoes were, I've got some melon plants at about yay high. They'll go straight in tomorrow. And I'm going to put in some herbs that will benefit from being in the greenhouse, things like basil and coriander and that sort of thing. And I'll get some very fast crops now going into June. Starting with the potatoes then, they're fairly easy to dig up and store. We're all familiar with potatoes in bags from the supermarket. Basically you just keep them reasonably dry and away from rats and things like that, and they'll keep quite well. I use these Hessian sacks, got these from my local hardware store. They're actually sold as sandbags, but they're perfectly good for potatoes. You can pop them in here. Just put them somewhere reasonably cool, reasonably dry, away from vermin, and they'll keep for a good few months. They're early potatoes, so they won't be kept through the winter. But by the time these are getting a bit elderly, the main crops will have come on if I haven't eaten the earlies already, and that's the way it works. The main crops will store, of course. So I'm going to dig them up and see what we got. Hopefully a good crop. Oh yes. Oh, lovely. Look at that. Eh? Just zooming in here to show what I've got. I haven't even pulled these out of the ground yet, but a lovely crop, lovely crop. That's the benefits of starting them in a greenhouse. Absolutely ideal growing conditions, good soil, good compost, and you see the results. And I'm now going to crop the spinach. Like I said, it's really starting to compete with the tomato plants here, so it's unfortunately it's got to go. I might leave some stubs of little plants in, but I think it is going to bolt anyway, so it'll probably be out within a few days. Just get all of these leaves. May look bigger than the spinach leaves you got in the supermarket. All I do, I wash them, chop them up, blanch them, freeze them. They're beautiful. They're big because the plants are just having a whale of a time in this environment. They're loving it. It's been ideal for them. Sometimes it's a bit too hot in the greenhouse in spring, but like I say, we've had some cool weather, so it's been great. Got another good stand of it here. Again, it's really starting to rather overwhelm the tomatoes, so it's got to be cut right back. And whilst we're here, there's something else that's very much in surplus. Obviously, what's good for spinach is good for lettuces too. Unfortunately, I can't freeze these down. I can't do anything with them, but they won't be wasted. Here you go, ladies. Yep. It's treat time. There you go. Hey. So this is my potato crop. I'm just gathering it up. I spread it out on the grass here just to dry a little bit and knock the worst of soil off. As you can see, it's quite a delicate little crop. It's not the biggest pile of potatoes you've ever seen, but obviously these are first earlies and they've been brought on in a very special environment. But what they are is the most delicious potatoes, perfect for salads, at a time of year when all these things in the supermarket are very much at a premium. So I'm very happy. And also they've used a bit of soil that otherwise wouldn't have done a great deal. You probably saw my follow-on crop is going to be melons. I'll plant them in now. But up until this moment, the soil wouldn't have been used for much else. So it's a really good use of a bit of spare soil, a greenhouse, and some early seed potatoes. To store, you see, I'm just putting them in this sack. They can breathe in here, the air flows in and out quite well of the Hessian. I'll just put them somewhere cool and dry, probably my garage. They won't be there for long. I think we're going to be having a lot of salads soon. So I'm looking forward. There we go, one bag of spuds. And here's the stack of spinach. It's a good pile, isn't it? This is just today's crop. I had a similar size stack a few days ago and similar a few days before that. It's really producing at this time of year. Like I said, the greenhouse, because it's been a bit cooler, it's just been an ideal environment for it. So I've got this sudden huge surplus. And when I was a young gardener, I used to look at things like this and sort of try and ignore them because it was too much effort gardening, never mind dealing with it. So I ended up throwing away as much as I grew, which is daft really. And I've learned over the years that preserving and in this case freezing food is half of gardening. I mean, there's no point in growing it if you just throw a lot of it away. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to freeze it. I'm going to freeze it by blanching, which is by far the best way. You can just stick it in a bag in the freezer and freeze it on its own. You can do that. Two downsides of direct freezing. One is it takes up a lot of room because although it squashes down, it tends to bounce out again. And secondly, it doesn't keep so long. Blanching is an old technique. All you do basically, you immerse it in boiling water for about 60 seconds. And that just cooks it a little bit, compacts it, but most important of all, it drives water out of the cells of the plant. And it's the water that shortens the lifetime in the freezer. So by blanching it, squeezing, I manually squeeze water out as well when I blanched it. You'll see me do all that. It can keep for 6 months or more in a frozen state and in a fairly compacted state as well. So blanching is the way to go with any green sort of vegetable like this. Anyway, I'm going to wash it next and you'll see how I do the whole thing. I'm washing as much as anything to get rid of the odd snail. Not that many in the greenhouse, but it's a bit upsetting when you do find one. Upsetting for the snail too, I should think. So, bring all this lot in. Just gets any bits of soil and sand and what have you off it as well. So, obviously. Roughly chop it. Just makes it a bit more manageable and ready to cook with as well. There we go, ready for boiling. Now just leave the cold water in the sink for now, we'll need it in a bit. When blanching, I just do a bit at a time. I find if you put too much in the pan, it just cools everything down and then it's not cooking, but just a good handful. In it goes. Just wait for it to boil again. Right, so it's just come back to the boil, give it 60 seconds. and scoop it out. Put that there for a moment. Add the next batch. And that can be coming to the boil while you deal with this. Now it's back to the sink whilst it's still warm. Into the cold water. You've got to cool it down, otherwise it will carry on cooking. It'll overblanch, overcook. I'm just swizzling that in the cold water, and it's good a way as any of doing it. Yeah, nice and cool. Squash out some water. Pop it in a colander to drain, and keep adding. We'll have a full colander in a bit. And when all that's done, you'll be left with a bowl of concentrated green stuff. It may not look very much, but this is absolutely packed solid now, and you'll find that it revives quite well when you defrost it and put it in soups and stews. A surprisingly small amount will make quite a lot of spinach when it's reconstituted, so it works well. What I'm going to do now is the last step before freezing it, just to squeeze as much of the water out as I can. Just get that last little bit out. And the final thing I do with the spinach is just divide it up into meal-sized portions. Obviously, how much spinach you want depends on what size of family you are, but I find a portion about this size, because it's very concentrated, it's about right for my wife and I. Put it in soups, stews, tagines. We particularly like Indian food, so this is ready to go to make a portion of aloo saag or saag paneer or something like that. You can just use it straight from frozen, put it in the pan, let it defrost, stir it around, stir in your yogurt or your spices or whatever, and off you go. Beautiful. One portion in a freezer bag. Exclude the air as much as you can when you're freezing it. Do up the fastening. There you go. Pop it in the freezer.